So today I am going to do a tarot card intuitive reading. I've been going through a lot with friendships, relationships, where I'm going to live, the whole nine. So it's been really a stressful and transitional time for me. So I'm really hoping to get some answers. So I'm going to sign in. I'm already late.
Okay, great. So we'll start by rooting you in and looking at where you're sitting right now. So your center position is a hard work card. And it comes forward in a couple different ways. Love positioning, like personal self-love focus in that way. And it does have like you really digging into the work of self-love and trying to connect with that part of the self and create it. A couple things I like to, especially when this card comes like in your master set, I like to remind people is sometimes the way that this self-love works is seeing the holes, the HOLE, so you can see the whole, the WHOLE. And so, you know, when we view like what we don't like about the world or ourselves, or when we view where our strengths are a little less than, or they are weaknesses, when we see those things in truth, without judgment or without control, we just say, I see this as a truth and I would like it to improve or change or grow in whatever way, then that gives us a better positioning of like self-love in that way. And that's what some of this hard work, it looks like, is coming through for you, is like in that acceptance piece. You know, you're hard on yourself and you judge yourself, you know, in a strong way. But what you're realizing is like that judgment never serves you. Like it's not doing you well in most cases. So that exchange of self-love positioning is saying like you're getting to that point where you are finally realizing like that if you can love your weaknesses as much as you love your strengths, then the weaknesses will dissipate and become strengths in their own way. The other part that comes forward with that is trust. And it can be trust of the self and, you know, your intuition and those aspects of self, but it also talks about trust of your environment. And trust is probably a core value for you. It's something that is on a high level of importance, but you also may have learned how important it is to you through someone betraying it or through someone, you know, damaging that trust. And so that learned behavior that you have of like, you know, I don't want to be fooled, or I don't want someone to, you know, do something in betrayal to me, comes from that place of strength of the trust. So pay attention to if that feeling of betrayal is the louder voice than the actual sense of I deserve trust and I trust myself to know if someone is not trustworthy.
So I would say that my few major things that I was looking to get clarity on was like, where do we want to live? I think I've touched on it a few times with you guys, like during the pandemic, we've been spending a lot of time with my in-laws that I love so dearly, and it just made us like look at things differently. Like we live in California, we're away from all of our family, so now like are we going to want to travel as much? Like our kids don't have a ton of friends because we're on the road a lot, and they're not near family, so we're just kind of like looking at things differently. And then this like beautiful house was just built right across the street from my in-laws. And at first I was like, there's no way that I would ever live here. But after spending like a month there, it just made me look at things differently. So we've been going back and forth, like, do we want the house? Should we get it? Would it be our primary residence? So we ended up putting in an offer. It didn't get accepted. There's two other people that want the house. So we've been going back and forth. Like yesterday I said, like, last and final offer. The house is not worth what we're paying for it. But for us, it holds like a different kind of value because it's like right near our family. And it just kind of brings us all like closer to the East Coast, which is where my family is and my husband's other family. Anyway, so I wanted clarity on that. Like, it's been stressing me out. Like, where do I want to live?
The first thing that comes forward, sometimes this card speaks to contracts. Sometimes it speaks to like legal agreements in some ways and that sort of thing. And it has like a foundational agreement being put into place right now. Two things to know about this right now. The first thing says like the heart and the head may be on opposite sides of the fence. And so recognizing like you can honor both, but that's certainly like when we come to like legal contracts, you want logic to lead and intuition to follow. If we work with the universal energetic lesson of the year, it's appropriateness. And appropriateness is the idea of balance in a human thought. And so if we think in this case, it is appropriate to let logic rule versus, I'm not going to go against my intuition, but logic may be the one who's leading. Taking care of the situation in that like logical linear thought process is actually the easier way to release the heart to do what it needs to do anyway. The second part of it talks about length of time. And this may be something that seems like it has been dragging on, or that you just can't, get to the finish line of, it's the longest run-on sentence in the world. And so recognizing that part of that time frame has to do with that balanced appropriateness, which says like, everything is in divine timing when we trust the process in that way. And the consistency card said it is moving forward, but part of the slowness of it, if I have to be honest from looking at this card, might be to wear you down. And so like recognizing like that you might need a proxy, which means like someone who holds the energy of this for you and let them do their job if that's what their job is, instead of like holding the energetic or emotional weight of it and then feeling like you're being overburdened by it. So recognizing like touch it when you need to, like you can touch it with that trust in your heart and the head all coming together, but you certainly don't want to feel like you're carrying it, because that might be part of the design of it elongating the way that it has. That slow release card, when we look at the time frame, like it taking forever, the idea of it might be really allowing yourself to align with the acceptance of it. So, if it would have happened in a month and everything would have been one and done, and you had these like beginning reservations that are like, oh, I couldn't live there, and then there you are living there, then you might have that buyer's remorse sort of feeling, or that double negative energy, and not be satisfied with the move in the way. And so while it's
the chase that's making me want it even more.
Right. And so that wounded warrior comes in to say like, things that are earned are valued. And so once you you've gone through this like bigger earning process than you imagined would have happened through the contracts and through the negotiations and through timing and all of that, this behind the scenes to the forefront card says like it may allow that to solidify in a way that you haven't felt solidified. From the way this looks, even though it's been like a year of travel, like it does look like that it's been a long time since you felt home anywhere.
Yeah, it's so true.
And so that will bring a sense of home in whatever way. To me, it looks like I don't think they're trying to take advantage, but they're trying to position in some way. Like it looks like that there's some positioning. The history card says the difference between the way that you will honor it, moving forward compared to the way you've honored it in the past. The past seems like there was a lot of like wanderlustness, which is this like, I love being everywhere, but I don't feel like I'm anywhere at the same time, sort of feeling. And in this moving forward position, especially with like the setting down of truth in this new space, like you're going to have the home base that'll feel just as good coming home as it does wandering. And so that's a better balance, which says, yes, I love to travel, or I love to do things. I want to live on two coasts, but like this is my home, like this is where I belong.
Another thing that was like really important for me was the uncertainty of business during this time. Like it's been really stressful. All 3 of our locations are closed down, and we had like a big expansion plan, and now it's like, well, what's it going to be when we reopen? And before the talks, I have always been in the clothing industry, and this time having like nothing really to do, I've been designing more, and it's been kind of my creative outlet during this time, which I really need. So she touched on that too, and she brought it up, that it's going to all come together and like be one, so I can do both, which is something that I think will make all of my companies thrive together, is if I'm feeling fulfilled as a person. So that was really positive. So I will also add in that conversation now.
So the next thing that comes forward, this is creative prosperity. Do you own your own business?
I do, yes.
Okay. So a lot of times when creative prosperity leads, it means like not only are you like own your own business, but like the business is of your energy. So it might mean that, you know, like people see you as the business, or, you know, your energy is what does a lot of fueling of the business in whatever way. It does have like, this is behind the scenes to the forefront, and that, you know, we can just guess from the circumstances of the entire universe, like that you know, there's been a little bit of sleep in business, but it actually has like that it's moving into a bigger amplification. So if it feels like that it's been kind of plateauing, or that there's been some quiet time in whatever way, it has like this like right work, passion, action, amplification, growth, abundance position. The multitasker says that like, you know, say you adjusted to the, you know, what's been going on in the world, how you do business. The forward motion isn't to readjust to how you used to do business before this. It almost is like an and instead of a either or. And so how you've changed how you do things, or how you've like remaneuvered in whatever way, actually become, you know, continued parts of what makes the business a success. The other thing is like it has in your ear, and you have like several ideas, or might have been like about to go, you know, into a new avenue or focus of it. And those things are not gone. They might be on hold. We might be, you know, waiting to launch them in whatever way. But the chance and opportunity says just like new ideas or new things that you would like to incorporate are formulating. They're, you know, they're in the chrysalis getting ready to be born. And so you have this time to be able to do that. And so it won't be like changing the way you do things, keeping how you changed it, something being born, you know, so closely together. It'll be a little bit more spread out, so you have room for breath. But it certainly feels like that there's much higher levels of prosperity available, and that it's all through existing seeds that have been planted. It has like that communication, that creative communication of moving forward is circular, which says like even after the massage and bodywork business opens up and is like, you know, blossoming again, then what will come forward is like the supplement. You know, they kind of work parallel, mainly when we look at it, especially with that lead card, because who you are, like the motto of who you are and like what you believe, are succinct in both. And so while it, you know, might be apples and oranges in whatever sense, it's like they're, you know, you're the fruit. You know, the description is so like,
I've been saying like I really want to like brand myself as the person behind it all, so it can all like come together as one. So I've been working really hard on it, and I think that that's pretty much what the cards are saying.
Yeah, I know it's going to be successful.
Yay! And then another major thing that's been going on with me is one of my best friends and I had a falling out. Everyone always says don't mix business and work, and we've been through it before, but there was just something in my gut that was telling me that something was wrong. Like I feel like my intuition's always pretty right, and I was trying to navigate that and say like, is this just like our past experiences being projected on me that I like don't have trust, or is there something, is my intuition really right now, and is this really happening? So it's been a rough week, but in business you have to make the decisions, the hard decisions, like what's best for the rest of my staff, what's best for my company, what's best for me, what's best for my family, what's going to make us thrive. And if there's one like bad seed weighing everybody down, I have to look at that differently, whether I love that person or not. I've just been processing that, and I just kind of wanted that clarity. And you know, like after what she said, I just felt better. So I'll let you guys listen to that conversation now.
One of the hardest lessons of the intuition is trusting and not knowing, like releasing or relinquishing the attachment, right? And so, I always like to give the example to people, like if your intuition is like, I shouldn't get in the car and drive, I shouldn't get in the car and drive, I shouldn't get in the car and drive. So you don't get in the car and drive. You're never going to know what would have happened. Right? So most of the time the monkey mind tells us like, don't trust it, don't trust it. And then, we get in a car accident or we have a flat tire and we're like, oh man, I knew I shouldn't get in the car and drive. And so recognizing like when we build that strong bond with the intuition, then we don't need to know the what the outcome would have been. Like we don't need to punish ourselves with a non-existent punishment. Your intuition led, the destiny card comes in and say like your intuition led, and part of where the like that regretful, remorseful position is that you gave leeway. When we talk about like negotiations, like your intuition was like, oh, listen to me, and then your monkey mind negotiated with it. Well, wait until you know for sure, you can't go, and so the monkey mind seeded the intuition with doubt through its negotiations. And it doesn't mean like we all have like, everyone on the planet, I don't care how much you've grown or where you are, like we're all going to get an intuition sometimes that we're like, that's my friend, I shouldn't think that about them. Or, like, I don't have any proof, what am I going to do with it? But the truth of it being is like in that fast work card, like especially in this situation where the intuition just kept growing and kept getting louder, trying to argue with the monkey mind. So going like, okay, I know I made a good decision. Even if I don't know the exact details, it obviously was the right decision. Like I don't have to be proven to that it was the right decision. I just can trust that it was. And to me, this is like, whether it's for the specific reason you thought or not, the choice was the right choice.
Okay, so those are the major reasons why I did this reading. I asked her at the end, like, well, what's next? Like, do I do this again? And she said, like, take 3 days, let your body cleanse. She does like this virtual energy healing, which she said that I would really benefit from because I am so intuitive. But she said that just like our daily lives, like really, bog down our energy channels, and it's always good to get them cleared out and be able to process things the way that we should. So I'm really looking forward to doing that, and I will definitely share that with you. But today and every day, guys, I'm sending you guys so much love, and I know that everyone's going through like their own thing during this time, and it's not easy. So sending you all my loving energy, and thank you guys for watching.